Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, since I've done the video comparing the Panasonic S5 with the S5 Mark II, which I have here, many people have been asking me, why do I really enjoy the S5 Mark II? What's so special about the S5 Mark II over and above the original S5 or my Sony cameras or my Canon cameras or whatever? I'm actually using my Sony cameras pretty much entirely in the studio here. I've got me ZV-E10 with the 11mm lens over there, getting a sort of a generic wide shot. I've got my Sony A7C with the new, well, it's newish Samyang 75mm lens. I'm trying that out because I've only had it a couple of days. So that's getting a close-up shot there. I've got my A6700 with the Sigma 18-50 lens fitted over there. I've got a little Canon V10 picking a wide shot up there. And I've got my ZV-1 picking up this shot here. I'm also playing with the DJI Pocket 3, and I've got that set to tracking mode, so it tracks me. And I'm really I mean, it's a brilliant little camera actually. I got it that at a really good price, and I'm really enjoying that camera. I mean, it's brilliant. I love it. But yeah, the S5 Mark II, what do I love about the S5 Mark II? The handling, for one thing. I do love a camera that's got really good handling. I always loved the Olympus OM1 Mark II. I thought that was a great handling camera, was one of my favourites, but it had the Micro Four Thirds sensor. Now, Micro Four Thirds is great because I do use Micro Four Thirds cameras, but I found the sensor was just a little bit too small for what I wanted to achieve. I wanted that lovely bokeh between myself and the background. And you can see with my A7C, being it's a full frame camera, I'm shooting that at f1.8, and it is creating a lovely separation between me and the background. I do love that professional looking look, I was going to say. I just think it looks really nice. So the handling of the S5 Mark II is great, very similar to my Olympus. Actually very similar to my Nikon Z6 Mark II. That's also a full frame body, but I do prefer the handling of the S5 Mark II. I love where the button placements are. I love where the function buttons are. There's one at the front here. I've got that one pre-assigned for bringing up the audio interface. So if I push that in, it brings up the audio interface. Anything to do with audio, that brings up. I think that is really useful for me, because obviously audio is very important. It's critical for any video content. I always found, even when I go on YouTube, if I'm watching a video where I can't hear it clearly, I switch off and go on to another video. I like to watch videos where I can hear the audio. So being able to bring up the audio interface, push of a button, I think is great. I love the grip. It's a nice deep grip, and my fingers don't rub up against any of the lenses. I find that really annoying on my little Sony A7C. It's fine with the smaller lenses, but if I put a bigger lens on, then my knuckles rub up against the lens, and I find that very frustrating and very annoying. So I love the handling of the S5 Mark II, and also I love the fact that it's got two SD card slots. My 6700 has only got the one, so has my A7C, so has my ZV-E10. Now, I don't love the fact it's got two cards because of redundancy and backup. Actually, that isn't why I love having two cards. When I go out, I shoot RAW on card number 1 and JPEGs on card number 2. So if I want to very quickly look at the images, I don't need to get the card out with the RAW images on. I can just grab the card that's got the JPEG images on. And I find separating the two for my workflow works really well, and that's why I love to have two card slots. But obviously, if I was doing anything professional, having the redundancy, having the backup would be, you know, crucial. And they're both UHS 2 card slots. Unlike the Mark I version, they weren't, but they're both UHS 2 card slots. I've got V90 or V60 cards in here. That's another favourite thing I love about the S5 Mark II. I love its in-body image stabilisation. That's great for taking photographs in low light. I can reduce the shutter speed. I love taking architecture and buildings when I go out and about. There might be some samples here, like when I'm taking photographs inside, you know, well, shopping centres, anywhere, any buildings, cathedrals, churches. It's nice to be able to have, you know, be able to reduce the shutter speed so you can still get a nice sharp image without having to worry about cranking the ISO up. So that's another feature that I love. I also love with video, it's a fantastic video camera. It's got all the 10-bit codecs that you could imagine you could ever want to use. It's got open gate if you want to use open gate. And I love the fact that I can use Panasonic's audio XLR audio adapter with this camera. I've actually got the Sony version on my Sony a6700 because I've got a XLR microphone plugged into that. But this is awesome. And I think it's you know, it's a great asset to the Panasonic range of cameras. It's basically an adapter here. You've got all your XLR input, well, 2 XLR inputs on the side there, and you've got the controls on that side. So you can adjust all the levels, the gains, everything you might want to adjust. And that literally just slides straight into the shoe of the camera, like so. Plug your XLR leads in, and then you've got professional phantom powered XLR microphones will go into here. You can plug a 3.5mm microphone into the side there. It's also got a headphone jack on the actual camera, which is really good. But you plug that microphone in there, and then you've got 4 channels of audio that you can work with. So the 2 channels coming in via the XLR adapter, and then the stereo channel coming in via the 3.5mm jack, or a third microphone, however you want to configure it. So the audio features with this particular camera, as far as video is concerned, is absolutely incredible. I do love it's got the 3-inch articulating screen. The only thing I really wish it did have was a screen that I think Fuji have got on their new cameras, and quite a few other manufacturers are doing, where it tilts that way, so it tilts up and down behind the camera, as well as articulating. Because I do, when I'm taking photographs, I do much prefer the tilty-wilty screen that tilts up and down behind the camera than I do having to bring the screen out to one side. But for video, when you're filming yourself, certainly in the studio here, I tend to use external monitors, but it's great that I could use the built-in monitor to swing it round, and then I can see what I'm doing. I think that is great. So that's another feature I love about this camera, but to be fair, most cameras nowadays have some form of articulating screen. I love the viewfinder on the S5 Mark II. 3.6 million dot viewfinder, really sharp, and for my eyesight I think that is fantastic. Also the magnification is really good, so you know, again, eye relief when you're using it for a long period of time is fantastic. The little a6700 has got a viewfinder which is great, so has my a7C, but they're not great. They're not great because of the size of them. The actual image quality is really good in them, and they're really nice, you know, nice sharp images in the viewfinder, but it's a really small viewfinder. This has got a really big magnification and a big viewfinder, so great for my eyesight and great for viewing images as well. If you're out and about in daylight and you want to view them, you know, through the viewfinder as opposed to on the screen, great for that. It's really great now that manufacturers are providing USB power delivery to all their cameras. I mean, it's brilliant. I love it here in the studio. I do all my product reviews, or most of my product reviews here in the studio. I can plug a USB-C lead into a power block. I don't have to worry about the batteries running out or the power running out. And now these modern cameras tend not to overheat either. The Panasonic S5 Mark II has a built-in fan that protects it from overheating, and I think that is great. I could go on all day long and not worry about the, you know, power running out or it overheating. All I have to worry about is filling up the SD card. So great that it's got USB power delivery. I find that great on my a6700, me a7C, me ZV-E10, even my little Canon V10 I've got over there has got USB-C power delivery. So I think that is fantastic. And my new DJI Pocket 3. I'm going to be doing a review on that, but it's got various features that nobody has ever been talking about, and I think it's really great. I'm actually running it via a USB power block, and that is great. I've got active tracking on it as well, so if you see that, so I'm recording this with the little Pocket 3, and it is great. No matter where I go, it's tracking me, and I think that is lovely, and it's got a nice 2-inch screen on it as well. So yeah, having power delivery on this camera and all my other cameras, essential for me, and it's great that it is actually on the S5 Mark II. Another feature I really love about the S5 Mark II is that it's got a full-size HDMI port, and I love that. The A6700, the A7C, the ZV-E10 have all got micro HDMI ports, and at some time or another I'm always breaking the cables. They're really, really finicky little cables. The ports are finicky, tend to break easily. No, not on the this particular camera, the, what is it? The S5 Mark II. I had to think then, I've got so many cameras. The S5 Mark II's got a full-size HDMI port, and that is absolutely marvellous. Also, what I really do love about the S5 Mark II is phase detect autofocus. Now I've come to rely on that with me Sony A6700, the A7C, the ZV-E10, but Sonys have got fantastic phase detect autofocus. And though the A7C is an older camera, the autofocus is still lovely on it. It's wonderful. It's great now that Panasonic have gone to this hybrid autofocus system, the phase detect autofocus system. It's got over 700 focus points, which is phenomenal. I think that's really, really good. And the autofocus is great. If you take a look at this clip here, I've had this set to human detect, and it's great because it will either just pick out the whole body if I'm further away from the camera. As I get closer, it will pick out my face, and it picks out the eye as well. And it really is snappy, works really well. And you can adjust the focus speeds between the transition speeds, between it being out of focus and in focus as it's transitioning from, you know, the various focus points. So I do love the new autofocus in the Panasonic S5 Mark II. The camera is weather sealed. That isn't a big issue for me. I don't really go out much in the rain and the snow and bad weather. But for those that do, it has got weather sealing. I think that is, again, a really, really nice feature, certainly at this price. And that's another thing I want to come on to. This has to be the best value full frame mirrorless camera on the market today. Incredible value. When you look at Wex Photographic here in the UK and you look at the prices you can pick up an S5 Mark II for, I think it's staggering. I think it's really, really amazing value for money and amazing results. And while we're on the subject of results, have a quick look at some of the pictures I've taken with the S5 Mark II. I'm using it predominantly for video, but I certainly do go out taking photographs with it. I tend to use my A7C a lot for photography and the A6700, albeit the A6700 isn't a full frame body, but they're nice and compact. But this is lovely to use as well. If we have a look at some of these images I've taken out and about, they look very filmic look. They don't look digital. Obviously these have been taken with various lenses. Some lenses will create different effects to other lenses, but the range of lenses are really nice. The Panasonic S lenses I think are absolutely fantastic. I love them. And when you look at like the 50mm, the 18mm, the 85mm, they've all got the same size filter thread and they're pretty much the same size. So you look at that one compared to the 50mm, that was the 20-60, yeah, 20-60. This is the 50mm, very similar size, same filter thread. And I think that is a great design from Panasonic to create lenses with the same filter thread. That way, if you have got a neutral density filter or polarizing filter, you don't have to buy separate filters for all your lenses. You can just have that one filter and take it off one, put on the other. I think the interchangeability is fantastic, so I really like that. But yeah, image quality is great. Now I'm not going to go through these images in fine detail. It doesn't warrant it, but hasten to say they're lovely, and I would take a look at them on my SmugMug page or my Flickr page. I'll leave a link in the description of this video where you can find these images and you can look at them in more detail at your leisure rather than studying them here. But if you look at how they look, they're not digital looking. Panasonic have created a camera that produces lovely colours, lovely definition, and as I say, they're not over sharpened. They're just really, really nice, and I love the look that comes off the Panasonic sensor. I say Panasonic sensor, they clearly don't make the sensors. I would imagine Sony make them, I actually don't know, but yeah, the way it's implemented is great. Sharpness is great. This is the 14 to 28mm lens. Create some lovely effects with that lens. And that's a lens I've got fitted to the camera at the moment. And again, fantastic value for money. Variable aperture lens, but internal zoom in, so you don't get that trombone effect when you zoom. Such a nice lens. 77mm filter thread size on the front of this lens. But yeah, a lot of lovely lenses available for the Panasonic S mount system. So yeah, I really do like the Panasonic S bodies. I mean, there's plenty of other things I could say about the Panasonic S5. I mean, again, another thing, the function buttons on the top, white balance, ISO and exposure compensation. The fact that you can get to them easily, because I'm switching between shooting in the studio here and taking photographs outdoors quite regularly. And in the studio here, I have a white balance preset to 5600 Kelvin, because that's what these two lights are pretty, well, not pretty much, that's what they are set at. So I don't have to worry about adjusting white balance and the white balance shifting as I'm filming. But the fact that it's got a white balance switch on the top here, I can very easily, very switch between auto white balance that I would use when I'm outdoors taking photographs, that's set to auto white balance there, to 5600 Kelvin for shooting indoors. One flick of a button. I think that is really good. I like the Panasonic app. It works pretty well. Certainly works a lot better than some of the other apps on the market. And you see that little blue light that comes on to signify automatically goes into Wi-Fi mode or Bluetooth mode for connecting to the app. So very quick connection between this and the app. Another great feature. There's so many things about the Panasonic camera that I think really do help the creator, you know, work more on creation and creativity rather than on technology, trying to get the thing to work. It's, you know, really set up for that, and I think that is really, really handy. So there we go. That's just a brief look at why I love using the Panasonic S5 Mark II. There's bound to be many other things that I love about it, but that's the, you know, they're the main things that I really enjoy using the S5 Mark II for. So there we go. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you like the content of my videos. Would really, really appreciate that. And stay tuned for more product reviews coming on my channel soon. Cheers for now. Bye.